Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're taking a deep cut from history today to get to the bottom of a really modern problem.
We are.
And it's a question I think a lot of us have. Why does success, career success, making a lot of money, even getting huge online, why does it so often feel, well, empty?
It's the paradox of our time, isn't it?
Yeah. You hit the goal, you get the title, and there's just this vacuum.
Right. We've got more connection, more stuff than ever before, but anxiety and that feeling of meaninglessness just seem to be going up and up.
So where are we looking for answers?
We're going way back, thousands of years, actually. We are diving into excerpts from a text known for its radical honesty, Ecclesiastes Chapter 4.
I like that we're using this ancient wisdom as a diagnostic tool for right now.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to pull out the core insights from the teacher. That's the central voice of the text about suffering, ambition, and the radical value of real connection.
And this is someone who's seen it all, supposedly.
He's seen it all, done it all, and found most of it lacking.
So what's the big foundational idea that holds it all together?
The core finding is it's pretty stark. It's that isolation leads directly to vulnerability and ultimately meaninglessness. Life isn't just a little improved by sharing it.
It's fundamentally better.
Fundamentally, even economically better. The teacher's argument is that when you try to do it all alone, the whole thing just collapses.
Okay, let's get into this. So the teacher doesn't start with the solution. He starts in a pretty dark place.
A very dark place. He starts by observing the worst failures of society. The first big lesson is just how evil oppression is.
And he's not just talking about feelings.
No, not at all. He's looking at the power structures, the economic reality, and he's just struck by the amount of suffering out there. The quote is, "I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they have no comforter."
That phrase, no comforter, that's what really hits me. It's not just that there's injustice.
Exactly. It's the complete lack of a safety net. No one is willing or maybe even able to step in and help. It's suffering and then indifference on top of it.
Which leads him to a pretty shocking conclusion.
A deeply troubling one. He looks at this and says, you know what? The dead are actually better off than the living who have to endure this.
Wow.
And then he goes even further. He says those who are never born are better off than both of them.
I mean, that is an astonishing thing to say. It's basically saying that a life under that kind of cruelty is so awful, non-existence is a better option.
It's profound. It tells you just how seriously he takes this problem of structural indifference. And the application for us, for you listening, is that the text is really demanding that we engage with this.
You can't just stand by.
You can't. Oppression could be, unfair wages. It could be ignoring the vulnerable. And indifference isn't neutral. The text implies it's actually being complicit.
You're called to be the comforter that's missing.
That's it, exactly. It sets a very high bar for how we should use whatever influence or success we have.
Which is a perfect transition, because after observing the cruelty of the powerful, he looks at why people chase power in the first place.
Right. And this brings us to the second big folly he identifies, the destructive power of envy.
So why we do what we do?
Yeah, the motivation behind it all. He argues that so much of human achievement, the long hours, the hustle, the ambition, it doesn't come from some pure internal drive.
It comes from looking over your shoulder.
Exactly. It's all comparison and competition, just trying to keep up. He calls it striving after wind.
That feels incredibly relevant. I mean, you look at corporate culture, right?
Yeah.
How many decisions are made just because a competitor did something, not because it's actually a good idea?
It's everywhere. And the text warns that when your work is motivated by that kind of comparison, the accomplishment itself is meaningless. It's like building on sand. You get there, and the goalpost just moves.
But hold on, isn't some competition good? I mean, capitalism is built on it.
Yeah.
How do you draw the line between healthy ambition and, this destructive envy?
That is the crucial question. And the text isn't saying work is bad. It's about the root motivation. Healthy ambition comes from inside a calling, a passion.
Yep.
Destructive envy is all external. It's driven by anxiety about where you stand relative to other people. Are you working for a goal or are you working against a person? That's the difference.
So the outcome might look the same, the money,
Yeah.
the title, but the engine is totally different.
Precisely. And that engine determines whether you'll ever feel satisfied. If you're just trying to be one step ahead of someone else, you'll never rest.
And social media just throws gasoline on that fire.
Oh, absolutely. It's no longer your coworker's salary. It's the highlight reels of millions of people. It turns drive into this constant, anxious striving.
So the challenge for the listener is to really ask yourself, why? Why am I working this hard?
Yes. Is it to prove something? or from a fear of missing out. Because this text guarantees that if it is, the achievement itself will feel hollow.
And that kind of striving leads you to a very specific place, doesn't it? Which is the third lesson.
It does. It leads to isolation, which the teacher says is both dangerous and foolish. This is where we meet the figure of the lonely laborer.
The person who has it all, but has no one.
Right. The person who works and works, hoards everything, sacrifices relationships. And the teacher poses this really tragic question to them.
Which is?
For whom am I toiling, and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment?
Oof. That's the sound of burnout culture right there.
Mm.
We've all seen that person. Maybe we've been that person. The founder who sacrifices everything gets to the top and realizes no one's there with them.
And the text has a name for that kind of life. It calls it a miserable business. It's this idea that we were designed for community. We're communal creatures.
So toiling just for yourself goes against our nature.
The meaning just collapses. There's no shared story, no legacy, just a pile of stuff.
And it really is the ultimate zero-sum game you play against yourself.
It is. And think about how lonely leadership can be. The higher you climb, the fewer people you can be truly honest with. Eventually, you can end up completely alone.
And our world today is the perfect confirmation of this. We have a loneliness epidemic that's a literal public health crisis.
Despite all our technology.
Right. Thousands of followers online. But who do you call at 3 in the morning when something goes wrong? It seems we chose quantity over quality, and we're paying the price for it.
And that realization is the major turning point in the text. As soon as he diagnoses the misery of isolation, he pivots to the solution.
Companionship.
Exactly. And it's not just a feel-good idea. It's a practical, pragmatic calculation. The key verse is, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their work.
So community is literally more profitable. That's language high achievers can understand. Relationships aren't a distraction from success.
They're a core component of success.
Okay, so what are the specific practical benefits that he lists?
He gives 4, and they are shockingly practical. The first one is a better return for work.
Okay, that makes sense. Efficiency, specialization. 2 people with different skills can do more than 2 people doing the same thing.
Exactly. It's cognitive diversity. It's having a partner who covers your blind spots. The lone genius is almost always a myth.
Right. Okay, what's the second one?
Help when one falls. This is the resilience factor. If you stumble a business failure, a health crisis, whatever, someone is there to pick you up.
A safety net.
A structural and emotional safety net. If you fall alone, you might be done for. If you fall with a partner, you can get back up.
That is so crucial. In a world where failure is, it's pretty much inevitable, you need that person you can be totally honest with when things go wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The third one is warmth in cold times.
Literally back then.
Yes, literal survival.
Yeah.
But for us today, it's emotional warmth. It's support when the pressure is on. It's the comfort of just being seen and understood.
And the fourth.
Defense against enemies or an attack. A united front is just harder to break. It's about mutual protection in your reputation and in your work.
So the takeaway is pretty clear.
It is. If you chase success but burn your relational bridges to get there, the text basically promises that success will be unstable and feel hollow.
Building those relationships takes real work. It's not passive.
It requires time, vulnerability, and real commitment, which leads right into his final point about strengthening those bonds.
This is the cord of 3 strands.
Exactly. The idea is if 2 are better than 1, what about 3? And the conclusion is a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
It's a powerful metaphor for stability. 2 strands can snap, but that third one woven in there makes it exponentially stronger.
That's the idea.
So if the first 2 strands are the people in the relationship, the business partners, the friends, what's the third strand?
Well, the text often frames it as God or a divine purpose. But for a modern audience, you can think of it as a transcendent mission, an unwavering ethical core.
So something bigger than the 2 of you.
Yes, a shared commitment to something larger than the relationship itself. A relationship based just on common interests is fragile.
Oh. Because interests change.
But if your partnership is centered on a shared mission like a commitment to justice or a set of core values, that becomes a stabilizing force that can get you through disagreements.
I see. So when you disagree, you can both fall back on that third strand and say, okay, our shared commitment to this mission is more important than our egos right now.
Precisely. It shifts the goal from just mutual comfort to mutual growth. It creates this shared gravity that makes the bond incredibly strong. It moves you from competing with each other to contributing together.
which is the exact opposite of that envy-driven life we started with.
The polar opposite.
So finally, the teacher brings it all back home with one last warning about public life.
Yeah, a really sobering one. Popularity is fleeting.
And he uses a pretty dramatic illustration for this one.
He does. A wise kid who rises from total poverty to become king. The ultimate rags to riches story. An influencer, a CEO, the most powerful person in the land.
But he hasn't enough.
No. The text warns that even this person will eventually be forgotten or rejected. The next generation just moves on.
That sounds like it was written for today's culture of, rapid fame and even faster relevance. You could be on top of the world 1 minute and cancel the next.
The implication couldn't be clearer. Don't build your life or your identity on public approval. It is completely unreliable. The applause always comes with conditions.
Yeah, it requires constant performance.
And the moment you stop performing, the applause stops. This is why, in an age of likes and followers, the wisdom is to find that internal measure of worth. Anchor yourself to that third strand, not to the crowd.
So let's bring this all together. It really does feel like a precise diagnosis for why so many people feel so empty despite their success.
You see the confirmation everywhere. I mean, look at the data on loneliness and health, the rates of depression and anxiety among high achievers. It all confirms what the teacher saw centuries ago. We just can't thrive in isolation. A life lived alone is, as he said, a miserable business.
So what's the final synthesis here? What's the bottom line?
It's deceptively simple, really. Success without real companionship is empty, period. And achievement that's just motivated by envy is a treadmill to nowhere.
The solution isn't more stuff or a bigger title?
No. The solution is deeper, more authentic relationships that are grounded in genuine care and a shared transcendent purpose.
So if we recap the big applications for someone navigating that world.
First, use your influence to oppose oppression and be a comforter. Second, really examine your own motivations. Are you chasing a calling or just chasing a competitor? And finally, intentionally invest in your community. Recognize that two, bound by a purpose, are always stronger than one.
A powerful message that somehow feels both ancient and incredibly urgent. Thank you for walking us through this.
My pleasure. And as you go about your week, maybe here's a thought to mull over. The text says you need people who will help you up when you fall. So think about that. Who in your life can you be truly 100% honest with about your failures, your struggles? And just as important, who are you committed to helping when they fall? What's one intentional step you can take this week to build that kind of genuine community, not just a bigger network?
And on that note, we encourage you to continue exploring, learning, and diving deep into stories that inspire and challenge you. Until next time.